Where are the numbers at today? Hi everyone, welcome to another Mike's Market Update. I'm working from home today, but I wanted to get the numbers out just as soon as they were available. Let's take a look and see what we've got. This is considered the November numbers, which is data effective through October 31st. Let's take a look at the local data and then also at the same time take a look at the national scene and see what we see. When you see this chart here, when we look at what's happening year over year, and that's not the only correct way to look at that. We'll look month over month in a minute. But year over year, we see sales are down 26%. Pendings, which are the future sales, are down 45%. Price is up 18%. That's interesting. Sales down, price up. We'll talk more about that. Days on the market are up 73%. Months of inventory up 264%. Let's go into the little bit of detail here. On this slide, we can compare month over month. When we look at the light green bars, that's the units for sale, we see that they're staying at a constantly higher level than we've seen in the past 12 months. That's good news as we come back to a balanced market. So there's more listings available. That actually helps sellers and it actually helps buyers. And we can talk more about that. When we take a look at the dark green bar, sales continue to fall month after month. We've got a downward trend since about May. They continue to slide a little bit. We'll have to see where they end up going with this. The pendings, the red line, also shows that the pendings, which are future sales, are going to fall. Looking at the next chart, though, we see price over the last 4 months is relatively constant. So all of the price increases that occurred are still holding firm in this part of Florida. Will that continue? Time will tell. There's a lot of anxiety or a lot of confusion in the national market in terms of there were elections, there's stock market issues, there's wars, all that kind of stuff. That will have an impact down the road. But it could be either positive or negative. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But price is holding firm still. When we take a look at days on the market, we see that days on the market are up substantially over the past few months. Again, more inventory, takes a little bit longer to sell. When we look at months of inventory, we see it's riding in at 2.8. That moves us back barely into a seller's market. 0 to 3 months is a seller's market. 3 to 6 is balanced, over 6 is a buyer. So we're still very close to a balanced market. Here's why that helps everyone. Buyers are not comfortable when they have to make a decision when they're still sitting in the property they're looking at. That's just way too fast. That doesn't help the seller, that doesn't help the buyer. Now there's time to go out, find the right house, bid a very fair price. We don't have to underbid to get deals today. The data is showing prices are holding. So people can really think about what's right for them and move forward under the right conditions. So let's take a look at the national scenes. I have slides from a company called Keeping Current Matters. I have their permission to show these. The big question is mortgage rates. What's going to happen with mortgage rates? Well, right now we see on this chart they're trending upward all the way through since the beginning of November. What's going to happen in the future? They're going to continue to rise. When we look at Len Kiefer from Freddie Mac, we see that the quote, U.S. 30-year fixed mortgage rates have increased 3.83 percentage points since the end of last year. That's the biggest year-to-date increase in rates in over 50 years. Well, we know that. That's historical. We know that rates are going up. Let's look at George Ratu from Realtor.com, and I quote, with inflation still running at a 40-year high and the Fed expecting a few more rate increases to combat it, mortgage rates will experience upward pressure through the end of 2022. One more chart, Mark Fleming. And I quote, while mortgage rates are expected to continue to drift higher in coming months, much of the rapid increase in rates are likely behind us. So the experts, the national experts, are suggesting we should see a slowing down of the increase. Not necessarily a decrease yet, but that'll happen. I'll talk more about that in a second. So what's the chances of a recession in the next 12 months? When we look at the chart in the economists that were polled in October, are saying 63% chance we'll see something. I've shown this chart many times. A recession does not mean falling prices. Of the last 6 recessions, prices have held their own and actually have gone up. So a recession does mean generally that mortgage rates will fall. So if we slide into a recession, the way the Fed combats that is they make money easier to obtain. They make it cheaper to obtain. Ultimately, mortgage rates will come down to stimulate the economy. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So when we take a look at the overall right now, The market here, here's my personal assessment, okay? The market is staying pretty steady. We see sales falling. We see more inventory coming out. That kind of makes sense. They go hand in hand. But sellers aren't required to give away the properties. They're kind of holding firm. Let's look at Taylor Marr from Redfin. And I quote, "For those bearish folks eagerly waiting for the home price crash, you'll have to keep waiting. As much as demand is pulling back, supply is as well reducing downward pressure on prices in the short run." So we look at the price forecast for 2023, and all the way from a 2.6% increase down to a 5% decrease. Here's what this chart tells me. The economists aren't certain what's going to happen. There's not enough evidence right now to say prices will go up substantially or decrease substantially, so we're in an unknown waiting period. Let's talk about foreclosures for just a second. We see that the amount of foreclosures are falling each and every year through 2021. They don't expect that there's going to be a significant change in the foreseeable future. There's less debt on the homes right now, less equity pressure, things like that, home equity pressure loans. So that doesn't look like it's going to be a major impact. So the question is, should I buy a home right now? That's a personal decision. We're taught in real estate school that we're trying to convince sellers to sell and buyers to buy, but that's not our approach here. If we look at this chart, we see the median asking rent price has gone up since 1988. It will continue to go up according to the experts, but it's a personal decision what's right for you, and that's our approach at Team Rennick. Let's sit down, let's discuss the specific attributes in your life in terms of what are your goals, what's your current situation, what makes sense, and if the right answer turns out, we'll help you find the answer, but we won't drive it like we're taught in real estate school. We'll help you find the answer in terms of, should you buy now? Should you sell now? Should you continue to rent? In my mind, that's way too personal to push, and that's just not our approach. So we'll keep looking at the numbers. Your broker has to understand the numbers, because whether you're a buyer or a seller, to get you the best deal on your side of the equation, we have to leverage the dynamics in the market today. And this is just the macro for overall for Sarasota and Manatee counties here on the west coast of Florida, and then I pulled in the national. We need to go deeper. What's it like in the neighborhood you're looking to buy or sell? That could be different. We want to leverage that. That gives you the competitive advantage when your real estate broker understands the market and then develops a specific plan that works for you. That's our approach here. I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like further information, of course, no obligation. We're happy to provide that. My personal, my direct cell, that way you can reach us when it's convenient for you, because that's the way it should be, is 941-400-8735. Thanks for watching.